his desk doing his sleeping. Oh, he's looking at me actually now. He must be awake. Sorry, bud. He got a fresh new haircut. He looks kind of cute. He looks like a very different dog when he gets a haircut, but that's neither here nor there. So, I've been playing Breath of the Wild, Zelda, on the Nintendo Switch. I started over. I already beat the game once and I did all the, not all of the temples. I did all the main temples, but I didn't finish all the downloadable temples. But then, I saw there was a new one. It's a prequel, I guess, is coming out. But someone told me Nintendo didn't make it, so I don't know if it'll be good or not. But it's coming out soon, so I was like, oh yeah, so I guess I'll play. And then, with quarantine and stuff, I needed something to do, so I was like, oh, I'll play it again, but I'll play it in Master Mode this time. And holy crap, it turns out I'm really bad at Zelda, and Master Mode is super hard. So, fair warning, if you like challenges, I guess play Master Mode. Yeah. I've been thinking about trying to find more video games to play. I think it's something to do while I'm on my bike. Because I'm behind on bike miles and I need to get that going. I'm also behind on movies, so I guess I could watch movies while I ride the bike. That could be something to do. I read books sometimes on the bike, and that's nice. But I don't know what it is about. I think it's just because I have a road bike on a trainer. I just don't really like that setup. I wish I had like a stationary bike. I don't know what it is. I think the road bike is just so high is part of it. I just don't like it. I don't feel super comfortable. And the seat's really small, obviously. So it's not really meant for like long hauling. My apartment gym has a little exercise bike. It's like a recumbent style exercise bike, so you kind of lean back a little bit. It's much more comfortable, but it takes a lot longer to get miles in on that one. I don't think I can pedal as fast. It's much more comfortable though, so it would probably be easier for me to like pound out 20 miles on that bike comfort wise, but it would also take me like 2 hours probably. Whereas on my bike over here, I could probably do 20 miles in, I'm not gonna say an hour, because I don't think I could keep up 20 miles an hour for an hour, but I could probably do 18 miles an hour for an hour, So it would take only a little longer than an hour. So, from a time perspective, it makes a lot more sense to do it up here. And but it's like if I'm not enjoying it, I'm not doing it every day. Like it'd be better to go down there and do 3 or 4 miles, for 20 minutes than to not do anything. So there's something to think about. I've been trying to think about self-awareness lately, and just gaming yourself for. That's a lot of noise. But gaming yourself for, knowing how you work as a human, and, oh, there's loud noises again. Someone's making loud noises. I don't know what's happening. Well, anyway, but gaming yourself for just knowing how you operate, and then shifting the tide to operate like that. I read a book, Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's a very good book if you want to improve your situation in life. I highly recommend that one. It's very, very good. But he talks about, designing your environment, and so that's why I have my ASMR desk, or, I guess it's a video desk, because I'm making other videos for other channels here too. But it's just like everything I need here, and it's like, it's not the best background, it's probably the best background I could get in my apartment, that like, it's a little busy, I could clean it up, and I could do some lighting to really kind of make it pop, but it's here, it's ready to go, as long as the camera's not out, doing a job, or just coming back from doing a job, because my camera works too. It's a nice thing about having a really expensive camera, is that sometimes the camera works without me. Then I could just sit down and I can, hit record. Sometimes I gotta put a battery in, or, a card in, but like, that's trivial, it takes 2 seconds, and then I just hit record and boom, off to the races, which is how I've been able to do these daily whisper ASMR videos. So it's like, okay, what else, how else can I do that? I got that punching bag for my steps, because it counts for my steps, which I'm behind today. I'm at almost 4,000. It's 5 o'clock at night, so get some more punching in. In an hour of punching could probably give me. I could probably get 4,000 steps in an hour of punching, maybe 5,000. And so that adds up quick. I know it's not. Those are punches, not steps, but it's like whatever. So the point of taking steps was to improve my health by way of just being more physical, and steps is a good way to do it, because like you can lift weights for a half hour, great, but like with steps you gotta be active all day to get to that 10,000, or more, which right now I need like 11.5 on average for the rest of the year. So I've been trying to hold that, trying to get 12, and that way I can just be chipping it away at it, getting it lower and lower every day. And I wanted to do like a 30,000 step day, which I kind of like started, but then I was like, and then my fists and my knuckles and my wrists, they weren't hurting, but I was like, I could tell. I was like, okay, I hit like 15, and it's like, okay, if you do double that, you're gonna hurt yourself. So I backed off, and I was like, 15 still pretty good. And I ended up with like 16,000 for the day, which is still like a ton. It's almost my best day of steps. So, if I could do that a couple more times, it'd be pretty good. Pretty happy with that result. But yeah, so it's like, okay, I got the camera, I got that. I just need to figure out, how can I map my goals to my environment, and how can I map my environment to my goals, and then how can I map my goals to what I want out of life. And right now my heavy focus is on getting healthy, being healthy, and also like securing the bag. And so on that end, it's like, okay, I feel like I'm not at a ceiling with my career, with my filmmaking, because I could improve a lot, but it's like I'm definitely into diminishing returns, and to crawl those extra inches takes so much effort. Or I could go the other way, and it's like, okay, well, my YouTube is kind of just budding, so like simple things like making daily videos like that, I'm gaining a lot more ground. So it's like, okay, well, what do I want? It's like, okay, well, in my head, I don't know how much longer filmmaking will be a viable career as it is now with commercials. It seems like a lot of the work is going in-house. People are taking care of it themselves. Technology's improving. There's more people that have the skills. It's understandable. You got to adapt. Whereas YouTube is kind of just out there. It's like anybody can do this, and I think, YouTube has room for everybody to succeed if they want to. And I think where it comes down to is that not everybody really wants to, or really is able or willing to put in the work to get to where you need to. And so it takes longer to get there. Whereas, in the corporate world, it was easier to get. But, the time's gonna pass anyway. So let's make these daily videos. Let's secure the bag. Been working on this channel. Been doing a little more on the white noise channel, and I need to. I want to step up and get a third channel in the mix. And I've been doing like a filmmaking channel, and that's been a lot of fun, and I'm actually learning. So that's kind of like a it's a fork system. Boom, because I'm learning to improve myself in the filmmaking career wise. And then I'm also getting the YouTube, I'm only doing like one video a week, so I could definitely step that up. But anyway, yeah, I don't know where I was going. Yeah, so it's just like thinking about, and I'm also thinking about decluttering. You saw my shameful ASMR secret. There's so many potential videos over here on this table that I need to just, I think I just need to do like a cannonball run of like, okay, I'm gonna sit down, I'm gonna get a book on tape in one ear, and then the ASMR in the other ear, and just hammer it. And I've got this whole week off, minus I have some editing to do, and I have a quick shoot that should only take like a half hour on Tuesday. So, yeah, I think there's some real potential here to kick some butt and get some real movement on this, and then I can declutter it, and I could declutter this bookshelf and all the DVDs that I never watched because everything's digital now. And just, take my steps up, take those goals up, get those goals going, because it's the last week of August, no breaks October, and then we're starting nonstop November. So, and really, it's just thinking about what I can control in my life and how I can manifest the best possible situation for myself, and it's a lot about, being prepared for, it's like, okay, well, I would like to have a new lady friend. I feel a little lonely, especially with quarantine, and breakups will do that to you. But it's like, okay, you gotta think, like, I gotta make myself into the person that would attract the person that I want to attract. So it's like, okay, keeping my apartment clean, is on the list, and I've been doing a better job about that. It's not perfectly clean. There's still a lot of clutter to get rid of. But it's way better than it was, and it's ratcheting up. It's getting better. I'm getting my money situation. I'm doing better with investing. I'm spending less money, which is good. I'm eating out less, which is good for my health. I'm working out a lot more. I'm not totally seeing the effects on myself or on the scale, which I don't care about the scale because I am building muscle. But I feel better, and that's an important distinction. So I'm using that kind of as a barometer. And it's like, okay, if I can feel better, and then I can start really looking better, which I've been noticing some changes in the musculature. Yeah, that's what we're working towards. We're working towards designing environments and just crushing things. So, man, this video, I'm realizing, is just Ramble City. And I think it went like 9 different ways. But, I just sit down to hit record and start talking. And I don't know how much of this people listen to, or they just need something that's happening and someone talking, to get, to fall asleep, to stay asleep, whatever it may be. But, yeah, you know what? I don't care, because it's helping me untangle the spaghetti wiring in my brain. And it's helping me really kind of affirm what I want. And I'm like, man, everybody should do this. Everybody should just have a vlog. And not for necessarily like fame or anything like that, but just to untangle the spaghetti in their brain. Maybe this is why therapy is so effective. Of course, the therapist would normally talk back. And that's something I've been interested in too, is finding a therapist. And I'm just worried about the money thing. And I'm like, okay, if I could get, like I owe a lot of money for taxes this year, even though I won't make as much. You pay estimated taxes when you're self-employed. So I'm paying estimates based off last year's income, which obviously was more because there wasn't a global pandemic. And so, it's like, I got one more tax payment to make, and it's like, that's a couple $1,000, and you're just like, ugh. So there's that. I've got some credit card debt that I want to clean up, and I've been thinking about if I want to just demo my whole investment portfolio, and that would not completely wipe out all my debt and taxes, but it'd come pretty close. So it's like, it's not a terrible idea. But then on the flip side, I've been enjoying seeing that growth and the streams of income. So I don't know. I said I wasn't going to talk about money as much, and now here we are. It's just on my head. It's just in my brain. I mean, I'm sure you guys know money's probably on most people's brains. There's that whole, this is saying, money can't buy happiness, but you can pay other people to do a lot of the stuff you don't like. So, it's true though. Anyway, kind of losing steam here on my thought process. I'm just real jazzed up. I've been feeling energized, which I like. I feel like, to use the phrase, being on fire is how I feel sometimes. And yesterday, I shot a wedding and I felt on fire again, and I didn't even realize it. And, I am doing what I can to improve myself. I'm doing what I can to accomplish my goals and to meet new people, however much you can in a global pandemic. And so I'm just really proud of myself and how far I've come, even just in a couple weeks, from being like horrifically depressed to like going for things, and the way I approach how I go for them feels good, I hate to be one of those people that's just like, oh, just eat vegetables every day, and then the candy won't taste as good. Which is true. I've been eating healthier, and when I get candy, the candy doesn't taste as good as it used to. Or maybe it's just like, but my brain still wants it, so I still go buy the candy more than I should. A lot less than I used to, but more than I should. So, it's true. There's no way for me to. I'm like, you just gotta do it for yourself. And the crap part about it is you gotta do it for a while, because it takes some time for it to come around. You gotta eat healthy for like a month. You gotta fast for like a month. And you gotta work out for like 3 months. And it's like, you won't see those effects, but then one day, like now, I'm like, the day after a wedding, I used to be like laid up in bed. My feet would like be destroyed. They'd hurt so bad. My back would hurt. Everything would hurt. And today I feel great. I've, been working out a little bit. I cleaned my whole apartment. Like, this never, and this was like 5 years ago, I'd be destroyed. Just, it's cleaned up, like laid up for like a day or two. And I was like, how do people shoot 2 weddings like in a weekend? And now I'm like, oh, this is how, because they're not like 100 pounds overweight. Who would have thought? Such a strange world. So, this like, oh, nothing tastes as good as being fit feels. I'm like, man, if I could go back in time and like be able to show myself and make myself feel how I feel today on a day when I had finished up a wedding, like, I'd have been like, I'm losing weight right now. And I would have gone for it. And myself, I'd have been like, okay, let me tell you how it's gonna work for you, because it works different for everybody. And like, what's gonna work for you is not what works for everybody. Like, for me, fasting was great, but I know if you are predisposed to like eating disorders, fasting is probably super sketchy for you. Like, don't do that. And it's like playing hockey again. That was something that I had always thought about doing, but I never like really did it until like I had a good year and I had health insurance again, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna do that. Yeah, I wish I would have done it sooner, because that really was the jump starter. Like, that competitive side of me, getting me back in the gym every day. And even when I'm not like working out, I'm still doing mobility stuff. I'm still taking my dog on extra long walks, getting my steps in, doing all that good stuff. So, you gotta do it for yourself. There's no way I can convince you, but like, man, going from being fat to like less fat has been huge. I can't tell you how much better the quality of my life on almost every front has been. It's just, I don't want to shame you. I just want you to be your best self. And I think being overweight is a humongous hindrance to that for so many reasons. And I think if you give yourself the chance, if you give yourself 6 months and you just learn to take it one step at a time, you learn not to beat yourself up, you learn to just not see things as good or bad, just as they are, as an objective observer of, did you do your work today? Did you eat clean today? Like, yes. And if you just pile up enough of those days, I was thinking, and this is definitely gonna have to be another video, because I think this is a really good point. I was talking today about, somebody was on Twitter was talking about sports, and in sports they were talking about basketball, like basketball IQ, which, if you're not a sports person, IQ would be like making plays that affect the game, and it could be small things, very unnoticeable things, and they might not result in a score, but they might stop the other team from scoring, for example, or they might lead to a score. And so there's a stat, which I guess maybe isn't a stat in basketball, but is a huge stat in hockey and in esports. It's called plus minus, which goals the other team scored while you were on the ice. So if you're on the ice, your team scores 2 goals, and you're on the ice and the other team scores 1 goal, your plus minus would be 1. And so, you would have calculated that over all your games. And it's like, that is something I think about with your daily progress and where you're trying to get. Like, are you having plus minus days? Like, think you have bad habits, you have good habits. So if your goal, is like me, you want to take 3 million steps, like, okay, a plus day would be like you hit, I think 3 million over the course of a year is like 8,100 steps or something like that on average. So it's like, did you hit at least 8,100? Like, that's a plus. And it's like, did you hit 10,000? Like, okay, that's, maybe you could count that as 2 pluses. Versus like a negative is like, did you have a bad day and you only got like 5,000 steps? Like, that's a negative. And so you add up those pluses and minuses, you build those chains. I think that's called the Seinfeld method. After Jerry Seinfeld, who says, you write a joke, you make an X on the calendar, and then eventually you have a chain, and the goal is just not to break the chain. The plus minus system is kind of like that. And in esports, plus minus is often called the KDR, which is your kill to death ratio. And so, like, the more kills you get versus how many times you die, And that's true, so you gotta think, like, man, I've always known about game theory, but I've never really thought about it till now, and it's just like, let's gamify our lives, let's gamify our goals. Am I pumping you up way too much while you're trying to go to sleep? I don't know. Is this gentle motivation, and do you like this? I don't know. But I do know I'm pumped up. So if I'm pumped up, hopefully you're pumped up. And you're going to be pumped up to go to sleep so you can wake up tomorrow and you could crush your kill-death ratio. We're going to call it kill-death ratio instead of plus-minus, because plus-minus is nerdy and kill-death ratio is like extreme. It's also extra nerdy when you think like, oh, it comes from esports. So anyway, I hope you're doing well. I'm going to make a separate video just for that. Maybe I should do some short motivational ASMRs that are just real short and to the point instead of these rambly ones. I'm motivated. I hope you're motivated. Get some sleep. But before you go to sleep, write down one thing you want to do tomorrow that would count as a plus, that would count as a win. Even if it's a small win, even if it's like, do the dishes, even if it's like, clean the toilet, something small, 5 minutes or less. Just write it down. When you wake up, do that thing first thing. Start with a win, and then, look around and go, what else? What else can I do in less than 5 minutes? Let's get a second win. Boom. Email that person back, text somebody. Send a nice message to a friend you haven't talked to in a while. Check in on people. So many things you could do. Like, let's go. Let's get it. Let's be our best selves so we can make the world its best self. And to do that, we gotta sleep first. So, get some sleep. I believe in you. The dinosaurs believe in you. And if you don't believe in yourself, I'm believing in you for you. So, don't let me down. Okay? I'll see you tomorrow.